Alrighty, we are back. It is the PM session. We're going to kind of touch base with where we left off. Since we left off, we've kind of pushed higher, which is really good. You can see we've gone with that 10 a.m. Right, we've pushed higher. Now my main idea is to try to see this range. We've got FOMC being released in exactly 1 hour. So my main focus is to try to, let's go to 1 hour. So there's a couple things that I'm looking at. I have a breaker right here with displacement on a 1 minute, but I'm going to go out to a 5 minute. Same thing, we have a BISI right here. Price is kind of spooling right now though, so I'm not going to be too keen to try to force something. I would really prefer price try to come back in and around that 10 a.m. level. There's also a 15-minute BISI right here, so I'm going to be patient and let price kind of make its way back towards me. Let me double check, see who else is joining on right now. Nabil, Joel, Pablo, Mr. Mauricio. Hello, hello, hello. So we've kind of spooled a little bit higher since we last left a couple areas of displacement. So I'm really just kind of letting price go higher right now without me. That's perfectly fine. And I'm going to basically try to see if price can find its way back into these areas and then potentially go higher. Right, and it might take up until FOMC, and FOMC might do it really, really quick and spike down here. I'm not trying to get in right as FOMC is releasing, but even if it does happen in and around FOMC, right, try to find some form of displacement off of that FOMC, and where is it? Right, and then find something on its way up. So right now we have our current established range, which is from this low to this high. And now we have our equilibrium. So now we're wanting price to come back into this discount.
Carson, if you're expecting to have a pullback, why wouldn't you short it?
Just because it's not the trade I want.
Gotcha.
Just because I'm expecting something. I'm a big firm believer on making sure that you are not trading everything that you think is going to happen in the market. That was a big eye opener for me, was that I don't have to trade everything that I might see. That, it's one of those things where you want your participation in the market to be the most ideal scenario, right? I'm able to potentially follow price in and around multiple different areas, but really I want my best case scenario to unfold before I'm a participant in the market. And down here is where you have a inverted SIBI, it's where you have a BISI, and it's where you have a lower time frame breaker, right? I believe the low of the day could potentially be in. If we're using this whole entire thing as an order block, right? If I'm using this as an order block potentially, right? The whole idea of this is to potentially see something like this. Oh, where is it? All right, it's all these. Okay. Now, I'm not really a swing trader, but the overall idea is something like this. Right? It could be this, it could be this, just something overall like that to potentially unfold. And what I'll do is I'll wait for it to get over here, and then I'll basically go into a 1 minute. Now, I do not plan on getting in at all prior to FOMC. So you can see we came in on a 1 hour and we finally fully filled this SIBI. Right, so that's where you're getting this retracement lower. So I would prefer price pull into the top half of these two rejection blocks in here. We go in on a we go in on a 4 hour, right? Waiting for this 55 minutes to close, pull back down into here, and then go higher, right? And then eventually, if for whatever reason price does not offer me an entry in and around post FOMC, that's totally fine, right? There's always other ways to adapt to the market. What I could potentially do is we also have this 1 hour BISI right here. And I could even wait for more confirmation and let price get back above that, right? I could use that as confirmation and have price come back above it, use that top half as support, find an entry in here, and then go higher. Right? It's just your level of tolerance of risk. Notice how price didn't fully fill this right here. So we do not have an immediate imbalance. We also have relative equal highs in here. We took those relative we took those AM session highs, but we still have all of these. Right, so we've got liquidity here. Sell side there. Sell side here. Why am I saying sell side? Sorry, guys, this is buy side. Right, and then overall, buy side right here. Notice how on a 1 hour we were able to come back into this BISI, use it as inversion right now, for now, and use that consequent encouragement to push a little bit lower. People are joining in. Honora, Bob, Kate, Ismail, Joel, Leslie, Mauricio, Nabil, Pablo, T. Yeah, everyone. A decent amount of people joining in on the PM session. I'm just looking right now. This is like me calculating lot sizes for potential entries and understanding how much contracts I want to bear with regards to how much I'm going to use. So I'm just sitting here and I'm setting it up, looking at what potentially I could be getting in. Note these two SIBIs up here too. And we're using that daily consequent encroachment now. We might not come back down here. That's okay. Right, I still have a lot of room to my main target, and I can still go in here and find more buy side targets if I need to. If we just start to run higher, I can always adapt. You can always adapt. You can always let it run without you. All right, so that's gonna give me that.
Carson, and the validation will be that we just cut through that breaker and take the low of the day, right?
Say that one more time.
That the invalidation for this buy side will be if we cut through the breaker and take that low.
Yeah, I'm being a little bit safe with it just because of our current market conditions, how high resistant it's been. Right now, I would be looking at an initial stop of 45.40.25. So I'd be looking at this low right here
Mm-hmm.
as a potential stop loss. I'm just looking at potential. I'm always looking to see what my best and worst case scenarios could be. But I am very hesitant. I do not like getting in before FOMC. I usually never do. FOMC tends to be the liquidity killer. So even if you do get a good entry, it's usually not as much of an instant pricing redelivery and more of just go get some quick highs and lows before actually creating its move. It's kind of my idea right there. And I might not even get an entry right here. FOMC might trigger it to go down. And because of it being happening right in FOMC, things might happen too quick for me to get into this specific entry. As long as price respects the narrative, I can find an entry along this way up, right? I just got to find a BISI or something like that to get in, even if I have to go in on lower time frames, whatever the case is. I can utilize that and then potentially use this low as my stop, right? I don't have to be a participant and try to get in at the low. I can see the low form, and if it just doesn't fit my time criteria, and the low actually forms right at in and around FOMC, and I need to give some time for price to get calmed down a little bit, that's fine. I can find something in along the way higher. I would prefer to see this actually stay open. Nabil got in a trade. He said he took 90% off, and the trade is at 3 RR. Oh, you took 90% off the trade at 3 risk reward. Good. Awesome. Let me take a look at it. Yeah, 6. So you were buying in and around that 11 a.m. area. If it fits your model, it fits your model. Good trade. So now if we're thinking about it from a retail perspective, right? Everyone who's been making money all day today was short, right? You get this correction. If you're short, it's a correction higher. Now they're expecting price to go lower again, right? And then what now we're viewing as a retracement, right? So price is going to go higher. What is it doing right now? It's telling everyone, and it's trying to make them feel like, hey, you know what? We are still going to go lower. We are still going to go lower. And it's going to give them what they want, and then it's going to turn around. Hopefully. Could be wrong. Could still go lower. And if it goes lower, it could potentially, if it just cuts straight through all this stuff and just goes straight through it, all right, well, I wasn't even in the trade to begin with, and I can take my analysis and chalk it up and go into tomorrow, and it's not that big of a deal, right? I said this before one time, and I think, a lot of people try to make trading a lot more stressful than it has to be. Right? Trading's stressful for a couple things. One, you're too worried about having your analysis be right or wrong, and or with regards to trading, your trades are you're risking too much, right? If you risk what you're supposed to risk and you don't hold too tight to your analysis and you understand that you can be wrong, you're never stressed trading, right? You're not stressed trading. You're just submitting to the process of trading. Curious to see where this quarter point is on this 4-hour wick also. Yep. This quarter point, the quarter point of this rejection block right here is right exactly where I'm wanting price to potentially form a low at. What I've also seen sometimes is if price visits this area prior to FOMC, you might get a reaction out of it. And then all of a sudden, 5-10 minutes later, or it might come into this area prior to FOMC, come out of it, and then FOMC hits and it takes the low and then pops right back up. And then that gives me a breaker setup, right? So even if price comes before FOMC into this level, I could expect price to really quickly come spike below the liquidity, below the low we present prior to FOMC. FOMC might come, take that liquidity, pop right back up, and give me a good breaker model to potentially use. And I'll even, I'm very accurate and trustworthy within my trades, but also I am in an area where statistically data has shown that I am lesser of a trader and I'm a lot more probable to lose trades. So as I do this and as I go into trades, know that I am more susceptible to losing, right? So you are more likely to see me lose now this part of the year than you are throughout the rest of the year, throughout any other time of the year. And that's good, right? I'm not here to sit here and when I do this stuff, I'm not here to always just stream, winning, right? It's good for you guys to see, just like you did in the AM session, me not touch anything. It's good for you guys to see me wins. I know that first one that I ever did, you guys saw me go in and get a win on a short, You've seen me do that. You've seen me not necessarily trade and understand what sloppy conditions look like. You've seen me tape read some stuff. And you are going to, as I continue to potentially open up these live streams to you guys, you're going to see me lose trades, right? And that's why I don't want you guys to necessarily take my trades. Your trades are your trades. You can utilize the information that I'm providing at the time being, but know that your trades are your trades, right? I'm never going to tell you to buy here or sell here or whatever the case is. I'm going to give you my honest opinion of the market. And sometimes I'm going to back up that opinion if I feel as if it's worth it and I think that the trade is good in my eyes. Yeah, I'll go in and I'll take a trade. If I don't like anything and it just doesn't fit my criteria, I'll tape read it. Right? Sometimes there's nothing to tape read. There was nothing to tape read in here. Finally got some stuff in here. We had a 1 minute silver bullet entry down in here. Told you guys if you guys were in some sort of sell up here, now was a good time to potentially take some profits. Pushed up into here, and here we were able to kind of ride a very smaller time frame, kind of ride up here. Well, I guess it was actually this leg in here. Then we were in here, left you guys in and around here. This was the lunch hour. Now we're retracing back into that lunch hour range. One 9 minutes until the macro hits. Right, so we open up that 130 macro in 9 minutes. I'm gonna go use the restroom really quick. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back. Ooh, I love this song. Alrighty, slowly starting to pull back in. Axel, what's going on, brother? D, nice to see you again. Mr. Matt, howdy. Try to catch you guys on here. Victor, I see you. You're good. You're good. I didn't really get anything. I just kind of tape read for most of the time. Saw what, let people know kind of what I was seeing. Kind of had a chop opening, displaced down to what I believe was the low of the day / Judah swing into previous day's high. Now we're kind of coming into an area where I'd like to see us potentially form a low. Hasn't quite delivered into this yet. Yeah, you can talk, D.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
You're good. You're good. Oh, good. I don't have the recording screen in front of me, so I hear the little ding and I'll go check it. I saw you'd raise your hand, but no problem.
Okay.
Notice how we haven't quite delivered into this right here. All right. Close, but we have not delivered into it yet. Still have 34 minutes till this 4-hour closes. This also helps too, like when you're wondering like, oh my gosh, is price going to run higher? Right? We still price probably the probabilities of price forming this doji candle and not closing or in and around the doji, the probability of that is high. For price to just run higher now with 30 minutes left, because it's got to make a swing point, right? It's got to have a low, a lower low, and a lower high, right? We're just in the middle of that swing point right now. That's why I'm not in a rush to get into a trade. Even though this is the area, right? Price, I could get into a trade right now and price could just hang around this area, and that's just mental capital that I'm wasting, right? I want to be in a trade and I want to try to have it timed with when price is actually going to run that higher. So we just dipped in right there where I want price to form a low. I just now have 33 minutes for price to kind of hang in and around this level, right? As we approach and get closer to 2 o'clock in FOMC, I'll ask you guys for the viewer's sake, we could get a little vote going on in here. What time frame would you like? I'm going to keep the 4-hour on the right side. What time frame would you guys like me to show the FOMC release? And Axel, to answer your question, yes, they're all recorded. They'll all be recorded and posted on YouTube. But what time frame to the left, the bigger one, what time frame would you guys like to see?
The one that you use when you're trading on your own.
Okay. All right, that works. Sounds good. So I'll probably go in on a 1 minute. I'll be very kind of quick to flip through the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5s. And it is a little bit more dependent on where we are closer to that. So we're just kind of waiting for time. A part of me likes that we still have left an opening of this. Part of me likes that we've left an opening this. Like I said, remember we might form a low prior to FOMC, but then if FOMC hits, we could use that as liquidity to come take that. We're 2 minutes into the macro. The nearest 1 minute swing point. Notice where we're trading in around 2, right? That 10 a.m. level. And even if I go in on a 15-second chart, right? If I start watching this, there's a breaker right here. There's that feeds into that breaker. Relative equal highs up here. This is also the consequent encroachment of this daily BISI up here. How sensitive that was. Notice how it's not wanting to come back into here. It's breaker model that y'all just saw right there on a 15-second. DXY straight bullish. It just reminded me, right? DXY is going higher. Where could it be potentially reaching for, right? Because if we're really going to get a run higher on ES, right? We need DXY to start going lower. And we did deliver into our target that we talked about on the call, which was this halfway point. But what I'm curious is maybe DXY is running into this inverted BISI, right? Maybe price is running into this inverted BISI to create a high. That's why I'm not necessarily trusting this run higher right now, right? Because I also have something that I need to have confluence with, and that is the DXY, right? So even though we made a low here, I'm not getting in this because what's dollar doing? Dollar's going higher. ES isn't necessarily going lower. It's just kind of hanging around, giving a little bit of a run higher. And dollar looks like it's beelining it up here. And this is, we've only had one candle. We've had this past daily candle, yesterday's candle closed below this, right? So now we want to see this be used as inversion, preferably just the lower half of it. So if this thing starts pushing up into here, in and around 2 o'clock, when FOMC releases, starts to go lower, in and around the time prices in and around this level, what do we think could happen? Yes, could go higher. But we do have to remember, and this is why we do have to remember, right? We just now delivered into the yearly range discount. Right? This is the lower of the year. This is the high of the year. We just delivered in the discount. And so far, closure has been respecting to it. So we have to be careful and note that, yes, we are expecting inversion. We have to know the overall time frame of all of this, right? And understand that even though I'm expecting inversion, I understand what could potentially happen. And if for whatever reason we cut straight through it, that's a whole nother ball game, right? We might go lower on ES. I'm not going to sit there and try to play that narrative right now because we're not there and it hasn't happened, but it's in the back of my head.
Carson, do you put any weight on NQ, for example, the 4 hour on NQ that is closing in the next 20 minutes? It looks like it's gonna close underneath the fair value gap
What time frame did you say?
on the 4 hour. So like on ES, we're still on
You're
the
talking about this one?
yeah, exactly. Do you put any weight that NQ is closing basically below and ES is is staying in the middle?
No, not really, because it's still, if you go on a daily, it still looks like it's going to potentially close above that previous day's high. And there was also this tinier BISI below it, which we didn't have on ES, which was down here, that we kind of went in and filled. So I'm not putting too much weight to that.
Okay.
There's a 15-minute SIBI right here. Y'all can see my screen, or if y'all can actually see me. Does anyone know what these are? Anyone ever seen these? These are called magic keys, right? You can't really see these buttons right here. I don't know if they're hard to read or not, but it's got stop loss at entry, partial take profit, market pending, close full, close half, close custom, target risk to reward, input risk, open trade, open calc, auto break even, stop loss and profit. Something like these, if you guys are having trouble with risk management stuff, they're hard to use, and I think they're only really useful with, I think you can only use them if you're trading actually in MetaTrader and not through TradingView, but they are hard to kind of find. I haven't been able to use mine in a minute because I lost the thing that plugs into my computer. So I've just kind of had them sitting on my desk for the past couple months. I haven't been able to really use them. I used to use them all the time now. Coming off that 15-minute SIBI. Alrighty. See what's going on here. Price still just delivering it in that SIBI. This is fun. Some people are scared. Some people don't like trading in front of people. That I actually think that I do better. I think I do better when I perform in front of a group of people. I don't get nervous, and I think it helps me make the right decisions. Right? Like think about like you being on stage, right? You don't want to. You kind of try your best to be your best when you're doing in front of people. And I encourage people to. I always try to encourage people to do it. If some people don't like it at all, but I always try to encourage people to do it, and just see whether or not you like it or not. See, and it does. You don't even have to do it in front of people that trade, right? Get someone who doesn't know how to trade. Get a friend, get a brother, a sister, whoever it is, and just say, "Hey, watch me do this," right? And that helps you get rid of the fear of losing, right? If you lose in front of someone, like that's the most fear you're going to get, right? You're not going to get more than that. full fill on the SIBI, by the way. Low end, this low or high of the SIBI comes in at 45, 50, 50. High right now is 45, 50, 50. 4 minutes till close. I'm curious to see if it closes above or below the consequent encroachment. Taking a poll. How many people do you think? How many people in this call you think could trade in front of an audience? 15 people. 15 people on this call. How many people could do it?
No way.
Actually, I think I'd be a lot better because I would fucking control myself and not push the button after a loss.
Yeah. Everyone's different, but that's the demeanor that I have, right? That's why I try to put myself in this position. Right? And we could hold this low, right? I believe too, this FOMC, it's almost 50-50 on how volatile they are in this time of the year. So even if we do close above here, right, we could start making our way up here and I can find an adaptive entry and this could be actually the low. I would prefer us going into 2 o'clock. Right, is it 2 o'clock? Yeah, going into 2 o'clock, I would prefer us stay below this high. I would actually prefer us close back in the SIBI, but it looks like we might not do it. We got 3 minutes to see. 18 minutes for this 4 hour to close. Like you're gonna close through it. So my birthday's in August, and I'm a big Leo. So I know you guys can't really see on the calls, but I've got lions everywhere. It's my favorite animal. I got a lion head right here. Got a lion head right here. I got another little lion right here. Some meditation. Got lions all over like my rooms and my desk. Someone said, I've been trying to find a free screen recorder for Windows. Bandicam offers free recording, but it's limited to 10 minutes at a time. You're totally, Kate said, you're totally a Leo. Axel said, most of the ones that have some free period, but I would say free recordings, OBS. We tried OBS. 56 seconds, by the way, guys, so this closes. I wish you guys could see some of I'll post in the social one time. I'll post all the artwork I have like in front of me, like right here where you can't see. It's just a bunch of very simplistic, minimalistic artwork. And it's got, I'll send pictures. It's hard to describe, but it's trading artwork. It's pretty cool. All right, 15-minute closed above. We're going to go in on a 5-minute, see what we're looking like. We push up into this city. I would have preferred that to stay open, but that's okay. We'll see how we react on it. Right, if we can get back below both of these. That would be ideal. Let's see what's going on a 1 minute. Fully filled this city, but we do have this city. Really what I could potentially see too is in the next 15 minutes, if we do press up in here, right? If we fill this city, we fill all of that and we press higher and then just start going lower, that would be nice because that gives us relative equal highs in here too. If not, and it keeps going higher, I'm gonna have to let FOMC play and then try to find an adaptive entry. But I would prefer to see some form of engineered liquidity up here and then price go lower, right? It might not come all the way down into here, right? It could just come into here. Another thing to point out as I'm looking at this, on the 4 hour right here, right? We're looking for maybe a rebalance there. And that's actually right at this buy side. So whether we just go lower, whether we go lower, whether we come up here, go lower, or whether we even come up here and go lower. Kind of some things that I'm potentially seeing unfold. Or we just keep going higher, right? If that happens and we get above this buy side liquidity, that's perfectly fine. I can find an entry. If it shows me it, right? Might not show me an entry. Price could just spool. That's another thing that I hope we get while I'm doing some live streams is price just spooling in one direction, not offering an entry technique. And that's the hardest thing to do as a trader is when price is going in your intended direction, but not giving you an entry technique, and you have to let it go. Notice this 1 minute busy still down here.
Carson, did you participate in price yesterday?
No, I did not. I don't trade Mondays.
All right.
Probably would have found something. It went in the direction I wanted it to, but just don't do it. Haven't traded a Monday in over 2 years.
Yeah, I didn't see any run on liquidity around 9:30, and it just kept going up higher, so I didn't have any entries.
Yep. Yeah, I actually, there are weeks where, if we have like NFP week is a week to potentially trade Mondays. Maybe a week where you have a bank holiday in the back half of the week might be a day where you choose to trade Mondays. And there's sometimes great trades in those types of scenarios. I have not touched just as a moral thing, I have not touched a Monday in 2 years. 10 minutes. That's how we have a SIBI and a BISI here. Let me check in on the dollar. Still nothing to show for it on dollar. See something really quick. Just getting some extensions out really quick. Price might not revisit this area. Okay, so something that I'm looking at is potentially this daily constant encroachment. It's also the equilibrium of this down closure, which could be viewed as an order block. Let me see something here. 5 minutes left. Let me see. I would prefer price show retail double top right here, given retracement going into FOMC. 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Curious to see how it holds this consequent encroachment. We might use that as support for a additional play. All right, as we're going into FOMC, 3 minutes, what is price showing? Double top. What do they see that as? Resistance. Where their stop loss is going to go? Right here, above the high. One minute. Where's the equilibrium of this range? Yep. The equilibrium of this range is the same equilibrium as what could be potentially used as an order block. What's the 10 a.m. open? Why did that not work? So I like the way that this rejected off the consequent encroachment of the daily. And we could go a little bit lower and we could come a little bit deeper into here. I don't know why it's rejecting that. I'll just have to do it manually. It's okay. I'm gonna have to manually take some profits, and you'll see me take profits at the buy side targets. Didn't quite really get the fill I wanted, but that's okay. Notice how we reacted at the 10 a.m. open. Tried to give it another shot, didn't, and notice how all the closures stayed above the daily consequent encroachment and even above the consequent encroachment of this 15-minute city. Dollar hasn't gone anywhere, so I don't really like that. Just messed up a little bit lower. Want it below the consequent encroachment of this wick. Won't go any lower than that though. Still closed inside this 5-minute fibby. I don't know why it's rejecting my limit. Oh, well. I get a lot more quiet when I'm in a trade. Trying to analyze what I see at price. Just consolidating in here. And take the stop. That's okay. There you guys go. That's one trade. That's one bullet I'll put in my pocket. Price looks like it's not quite ready to go yet. That's okay. This is where the fun begins. Find out for 1 minute. And I kind of give it some time to come a little bit lower if it needs to. There's a breaker right here. There's 3 to 1 minute SIBI. Curious to see if we get any closure below this. We just got closure. Curious to see if price is actually going to be willing to come down and take this low. If we get back above this SIBI, I could use that inversion as an entry model potentially. Back and forth right now. Nothing crazy. Here's some stuff up really quick. That's SIBI. Dollar's getting closer to that. Let's see what this market execution looks like. Up raise. Raise $60. Get up in there. Just pulled up into this little 12-hour reducer. Could go lower on that price close. Gonna probably use this as an inversion model. Little tiny busy in here. Just needed a little wider stop placement on that initial entry. That's okay. A little early. Probably starting to go a little lower. How sensitive that 10 a.m. price action was. Right here. That's immediately delivered there. Okay, other trade. Going in with half the risk. I was trying to do buy limits earlier, that's why. I'm sorry. I actually prefer this to be at the low, the way this is trading. Might be a little bit more than half risk, but I'm willing to take it. Price is still closing in that city, that's okay. I just don't like how it didn't necessarily act as sensitive to it. Notice how it's creating these equal highs though. Well, it's going lower. Yes, is not really running higher, so I don't really like that. Closed at the city, but I don't like this price action. Not respecting it. And around that daily BISI. Daily consequent encroachment. We're still very early after FOMC. Might not make a run until 3 o'clock. If I get stopped out on this, I'll probably wait for my last potential entry at 3 o'clock. Price is not respecting this inversion as well as I would like it to. Also, it wasn't allowing me to put my limits earlier because I was doing buy limits. I don't know if anyone caught that. I'd prefer price run through the SIBI. I don't like how it's having trouble getting up in there. Notice how I understand if and when I'm probably going to get my stop loss hit. I still isn't respecting it the way I want it to. And you thought it might be, well, Carson, if you know it's going to hit your stop loss, why not get out? Well, I'm in the trade for a reason and I have to let it breathe. Can at least start by closing above this SIBI. Hopefully. Still not giving anything to it. Don't like that. Gates at NQ already took the highs. So there's some SMT there. Just not favoring the longs. I see that right there, Kate. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go ahead and probably adjust my stop a little bit then. Just a little bit. Take some risk off, might as well. NQ already took the highs. DXY is going nowhere. NQ is still consolidating. Still accumulating orders in here. You might not get anything until 3 o'clock. Dollars going lower in Q, not giving anything. ES not giving anything. Just not, no real low resistance liquidity run at all. It's not giving anything. Might run to my stop. That's okay. It's not giving any respect to any of these. It's just going back and forth, back and forth. If we hold this low and take this high and close above here, I'll move my stop. See, not all trades are winners and not all trades go straight into profit. You guys got to learn how to handle heat, drawdown, what price is telling you at the moment. Right? Price is giving me nothing to be confident in this trade. Although obviously the trade can play out, I have to know what could potentially unfold. Notice how I'm not risking a lot overall either way, right? I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, tell you guys my account size because that's for my privacy, but overall, right, I'm not risking a lot. I can tell you right now I'm risking 0.25% and under what my account size is. So I'm not sitting here, you know, this is all less than 0.25% risk. Why? Because I'm more susceptible to losing, right? I know I can win trades, but I also know I can lose trades, and I'm more susceptible to lose trades in this time of the year. So I'm trading with low risk. I'm not stressed about losing a trade. You guys already saw me lose a trade. Right? If price closes above this 1 minute candle and can get back above the consequent encroachment of this SIBI, I'll move my stop to this low. Even though I prefer to pay myself before I move my stop and you need to let it breathe, I'm also having the number one thing forefront in my mind, risk management. Absolute chop. Nothing to even navigate with, right? Okay, NQ. NQ is starting to go a little bit lower. It's got a little bit left of a BISI to fill. Dollar's still in the same spot. Right now we're just distorting time. I think as we get a little bit closer to 3 o'clock and in and around 3 o'clock, we'll understand a true direction for the rest of the day. Notice how it's respecting this premium of the range more than it is the discount. The discount, it's not giving anything. It's not sensitive to it at all. We've just nothing but stayed in this range since FOMC. There it goes. There's another bullet in my pocket. I will wait until 3 o'clock, and I might not take another trade. Who knows? But we'll wait until 3 o'clock. Not only did you steal losses, you saw back-to-back losses. Look at that. NQ just filled that whole thing. All or nowhere. I'll need price to get above all this price action right here before I even think about being a participant in the market. NQ starting to go somewhere. Someone's knocking on my door, guys. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. One more trade. Will we get it? I believe we're just distorting time right now, waiting to that 3 o'clock power hour. Price action is horrible. It is. Nothing really to nothing really to navigate right now. Hopefully me trading in all this should show you guys that it is very, very difficult to trade in this. I'm not afraid to step up and be the reason why. I will be the evidence. Get you. Q's getting a little strength. Just closed outside this BISI. Like this to be right here. We're all respecting that. $17 minutes until 3 o'clock. Price usually likes to ease up out of its range around then, so we'll wait. Hopefully, if you guys got anything out of today, it's showing, the correct demeanor to have when you take trades. A lot of these trades are not, none of these trades are really A+ setups. Price coming back down, might tap the liquidity below the CPI low back into the 10 a.m. DXY pushing a little bit higher. the ideal situation would be if we have the time, if time aligns, if we can come take this low potentially. And Q is just doing absolutely nothing. DXY is just kind of hanging around. We might not get this low. Still respecting this breaker right here. Oh, my wisdom teeth are coming in. Have any of y'all ever gotten your wisdom teeth taken out? I gotta get mine taken out in January. Can't even open my mouth. My jaw's been hurting. And Q showing still more of a willingness to go higher. The XY is starting to maybe dip a little lower. And Q pushing out of this busy. Dollar starting to go a little bit lower. And Q being the slower of the two. 14 minutes until 3 o'clock. Might have a breaker in here. And Q's starting to go. Dollar's starting to go lower. This is starting to make its way higher. Breaker. If I wasn't on my last trade, I probably would have maybe tried that as an entry, but I'm gonna wait till 3 o'clock. It's probably giving a little run higher. Dollar giving a little run lower. I'll wait for this hour to close. I'm curious on if this hour closes above or below the BISI. Consequent encroachment. $11 minutes. I'm a little tired. Sloppy price action. I haven't sat through this sloppy of price action in a while. Humbles you. Humbles you. Revisiting the 10 a.m. open. Took out that CPI low. Eight minutes. I'm gonna clear some stuff up really quick. Now it looks like my main focus is if we can get back above here, use that as a breaker and go higher. Starting to see a little bit direct correlation in this going higher with dollar going lower. You might get something. We can get back above here. Notice how much trouble it's having going lower though. Yes, it's chopping lower, but it's not going anywhere with clear displacement. We can close above this as a breaker. I will trade it. Just need a retracement inside of it. Thirty seconds to the hour. Might go without me. Might have to use the Sibi as inversion. Gonna be patient. I prefer the breaker. You guys get to watch price go without me too. I'm very firm on the areas that I'm looking for. Still could give me a trade setup, but I'm just waiting. Very easily run without me. But I will be patient. I'm going to see how it behaves, and if it forms a low in the Sibi and goes higher, I'll buy quickly off that. If it just can go through it, I'm going to wait for this breaker. I would prefer this breaker. There's a volume imbalance down here too. Patience, patience, patience. Not a problem, Victor. Hopefully it was insightful. I'm human too. I lose with I lose just like you guys. If we close back above this candle right here, might potentially use that as an order block. it. Volume imbalance right here. Don't have it really close of it. Breaker right here too. And I'd really prefer that breaker. I don't know if I'm gonna even get the trade here. I'm fine letting it go without me.
45, 49 is the entry that you're trying to get?
Yeah, 45, 49, 45, 50. I'd get in at 45, 50. It's just not worth it on my end after taking a couple losses trying to chase it high because it can always retrace. And if I get in and around these levels, it could very easily go lower into that level. I'd prefer just take the 2 losses and wait to see if it wants to do something. This NQ has a very clear breaker in here too. With more clear displacement. If I do this. Okay. We could get that great, if not. Patience is a virtue. So we got 2 hours of price action, and on FOMC days, it is very keen to, it's very keen to run its liquidity at the very end of the day. Coming into this city right now. NQ is going into that breaker. Coming up into here. I like that they're actually trading against each other now, though. That's why you're getting that lower resistance. This volume imbalance finally cleared. We offered buy side candle closure and sell side candle closure. We don't necessarily want to do that. This could be a potential breaker too. Right, so I could potentially use this as that scenario.
But that becomes a breaker once he takes the high, no?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And NQ touched the breaker, right?
It's in it right now, yeah. No, it didn't come down to this specific breaker. That's the breaker that I was wanting it to come touch.
That's the 1 minute. Okay.
So if we get above, right, that's the idea. My stop will go at 45.52 flat. If that happens, if we go lower, and I'll wait for my initial entry. My roommate's back behind me playing Fortnite. Two different types of people, huh? Not a problem, not a problem. Thank you for joining. I appreciate the company. So yeah, if it does get back above here and do something like this, my stop loss will go below that volume imbalance. It looks like it might get another shot to go lower. Giving it another run. Good thing about trading this late in the session though is time is such a key thing that is when you get in your entry, you're going to want to start see price going in your direction relatively quickly. You might not even take the liquidity today either. Might be tomorrow morning, and I'll be on tomorrow morning for that. So using the city as support. Are still using this breaker. Some days I'll come up And I'll sit here and I'll trade and I'll be in and out doing what I need to do in 30 minutes, and it feels good. And some days I'm here till the very end.
Your first target is 45.55, right?
Yes, if I get in down here, that'll be my first target. If I get in at the second target, or if I get in using this as the breaker, my first target will be 45.58 and a quarter. This is too close for me.
Yeah, it's nothing.
But if it does give me the entry down here, yeah, that'll be my first target.
Do you use a prop firm to trade or live funds?
Yeah, I use prop firms. I'm using a smaller prop firm right now. That's what I'm trading on.
Is it really a benefit to do those prop firms? I mean, I feel like with $2,000 or $3,000, people can, especially you guys that have like so much experience, it will be better off you don't pay any of the monthly fees and you keep being very
I think it's
risk managed.
preference. I think it's preference. I mean, my risk management in general is very close to those prop firms. They don't bottleneck me too much. And I think it's more of a preference. I mean, I like prop firms for several reasons. Any of the prop firms I have, I don't pay monthly fees for them. So it's just once I pass them, it's good, and odds are I get my money back, depending on the prop firm. And so I really trade with no risk. And I take percentages of my withdrawals and put them into live accounts, but I just don't touch them yet. They're not at the size in which I want to touch them yet. So I just wait. So I'm using these to build live capital, but I want big capital when I go to trade live money. Still nothing. MQ's not going anywhere. DXY is still kind of just hanging around. And really, most of this trade is going to be to mitigate the initial 2 losses. Depending on how high it runs is depending on whether or not I'll walk out of today profitable.
With such a big earnings like Nvidia, do you usually look at Nvidia chart or no? Not really.
No, not really. I look at them every other couple months. With NVIDIA too, I just always assume it goes higher. I'll look into it. Sometimes I'll set alerts on it, and when I get alerts, I'll go and kind of tap into it. And Q's making a little bit of a push higher. Dollar's not really going anywhere. My neighbor's got such a loud Corvette. I'm literally upstairs in my house with these big headphones on, and I just heard him. I always hear him crank his car. Joel, thank you. That's my entry right there. All right, I missed this entry right here. Hopefully it goes a little bit lower. If not, I'll use this as an inversion. And I'll use that low. MQ's not quite there. Dollar doesn't really look like it's going anywhere. Last chance.
Let's go.
There we go. Last one for the day, guys. Had to be patient for that one. My last bullet, gone. NQ didn't quite reach it. XY still shows no reaction. Not a decent fill.
Do
Good
you
that
ride
y'all-
these until the last 10 minutes, or
Yeah, I'm gonna ride this thing until
you get stop out?
yeah, I'll ride it till I get stopped out. I'll start trailing my stop closer till the end of the session, but I won't hold it over the session. But yeah, I'm gonna try to squeeze as much as I can out of the limit if it gives me it. I mean, price hasn't really given me any profit even today. I mean, we had a little bit of a reaction here, nothing here. You guys haven't even really been able to see me in profit, so we'll see. Once price takes this first sell limit, I'll move my stop to this low. Dollar nowhere. And Q's going higher. Didn't quite reach that breaker, which I don't really like, but it could show that we're the stronger of the two. Alrighty. Alan, Bob, Kate, D, Ismail, Leslie, Matt, Mauricio, and Pablo. Y'all are some soldiers hanging in here all day with me. And I had nothing to show for it. I had nothing to show for it all day. Don't even know if I still do, but
Not true. You
I
have a
like-
It's all
lot
good.
to
It's
show.
all good.
We
We've been
do.
learning.
We learn.
this is my last bullet, but I'm glad you guys might get more learning out of watching me and how I handle my losses more than anything. And if that's what it is, I have no problem stepping up here as much as I can to show you guys how to navigate your way through it all. Because I mean, I love trading. People will love trading because they love winning, but I just love trading. It took years for me to gain the composure that I have to do this in front of people, but even just by myself. Really the same way I am right now is the same way I am in front of nobody, right? You know, price very well still can come and stop me out, and I can go 0 for 3 on the day. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I've had plenty of days like that. I've had days where I kept losing and losing and losing and couldn't stop. So even just knowing that I'm at a point in my career where I can take 3 trades and lose all 3, you know, whatever the case is, and just walk away with clean composure like nothing happened, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's a win in my book, right? I know that there's going to be better days. The price action today has been terrible. And that's okay. And Q going lower. XY absolutely going nowhere. Absolutely nothing. Ugh. And guess what? If it takes me out, that's perfectly fine. Because tomorrow, right, we've got all these relative equal highs we could potentially go see. You can always come back tomorrow. Takes one good trade. Bob said, been trading for 9 years, full time for 3 years, still struggling with the mental aspect of it at times. Listen, I've dealt with stuff outside of trading that has pushed my mental more than anything. I mean, I didn't have a home for 3 years. I didn't have a home for 3 years. That was a lot more mentally challenging than trying to figure out this stuff, right? If I can survive that stuff, this is nothing. What's a couple losing trades going to do to me? NQ just tapped into that breaker. Dollar still nothing. It is now or never. And this is the thing too, is it could stop me out and then go higher into all my targets. And guess what? That's the trick of the trade. It just wasn't my day. There it is. 0 for 3. You guys saw all of them. Just not the day to trade. Probably going to say be an inside day the rest of the day. And that's okay. I'll be back at it tomorrow. I'm actually starting it early tomorrow, so I'll be back on at 8 o'clock. You guys saw all 3 trades, right? All 3 within the respective area. Reasoning for stops and all that. Price could go without me, and I'm perfectly fine. I don't care. I am so disconnected mentally and spiritually and physically from all these charts. This stuff does not bother me, and I'm actually a part of me going into today actually really did believe that this exact thing was going to happen. But I said, you know what? I want to do that for them. I want to make sure that they can see that I am not a perfect human being, and I wanted to show you guys what happens when you guys try to go in and do stuff like this, even with my 6 years of experience. We've been talking about the seasonal tendencies. We've been talking about all these things and how hard it is and how high resistance it is. And I knew that if I got in here and did it in front of you guys, a part of me, like I said, kind of wished that I did lose. Obviously, that sounds funny, and people can say, oh, no, 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 no. And that's right. Obviously, I want to win, and I want to profit and show you guys how this stuff works. But I also want to show you guys how this stuff works, right? That's more important, and you'll get more learning out of that. And I hope that when you are sitting there and you are in your journey and you are trading by yourself and you don't have me or you don't have Henry and you have nobody and you're trying to figure this stuff out, you remember days like this. You remember my voice transpiring in your head about how there's always tomorrow. There's always another trade. Price could very well just consolidate in this range for the rest of the day. And I didn't do anything wrong. I still followed certain models. I still followed certain price tendencies. Price wanted nothing to do with them, right? DXY didn't really go anywhere. Nothing was really anti-correlating with DXY like it's supposed to. Just not the day, right? And me as a role model for you guys deserve to see that stuff, right? Your first instinct is to be, if you were in my shoes watching price, and every time you start to see it go up, your first instinct is going to be like, oh, there it goes. Get right back in. No, I'm done with the charts today. I don't need to get back in. I've used all my bullets. There's no reason for me to do that. If you guys have any other last questions, comments, or concerns, I'd love to answer them. If not, I think that that's going to wrap up for me today. There's really nothing that I can do in the markets right now, right? I've reached my complete limit, and I'm done, right? It
Carson,
does me no. Yeah,
I have
go.
a question, if you don't mind, with
Mhm.
NVIDIA. Do you mind checking it out?
Yeah, I can check it out for you. Not a problem.
It'll be fun to see after the fact where he's going.
That's what I see.
Okay, good. Gun to your head, so we're going down.
Yep, you have a breaker, you have a BISI in here. You just intermediately purged a little bit of the buy side. So I like that with regards to both structure and getting price to relief or to kind of come down a little bit after taking some of this. And that you also have opposing liquidity already taken on the weekly. I think this low holds. I think you come into this breaker.
That breaker is what? Is that on the daily, right?
This is the weekly.
Oh, the weekly. 460 is the top.
470.
470 is the top. Okay.
Like 475. And then let me just see really quick. I'll look at. Yeah, so I would actually prefer price stay above this discount. I wouldn't want it to return into it. So I would want it to stay heavy-handed to the top side, but I would like to see a retracement at least into 4080, 4075.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Right.
Hopefully this was insightful, guys. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. You know, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me all day. I will be doing it tomorrow in the AM session before we let y'all go for the holiday. There's always another day, right? I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed to have air in my lungs. I'm blessed to see another day. I'm fortunate for all the people around me. I'm fortunate for all the things that I've been given in this life. When you have days like this, the number one thing you can do is just be appreciative and fortunate of the little things. I'm appreciative of you guys. I'm fortunate that we have this community and you guys get to sit here and watch me win. And like today, you guys get to watch me lose. And I'm going to continue being as transparent as I can for you guys, because I truly believe Michael gave all of this for individuals like myself who want good for others. And I'm not going to go out there and I'm not going to search for them. I know they'll find me. I wasn't out here searching for you. You didn't come in contact with me because I was looking for Matt, Alan, Bob, Mauricio, D. I wasn't sitting there looking for you guys. The universe brought you to me. And now I truly feel that it is my responsibility to be the best person I can be, best trader I can be, and thoroughly be a clear window into my life as a trader, so you guys can see how I operate and how I've been able to kind of build my success throughout the past 6 years, right? And that success is not 6 years. It's not winning every single day. You guys see lots of wins. You guys see all that stuff. I'm going to start showing you guys this side too, right? There's no reason for me not to. I appreciate you. You guys are awesome. I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Hopefully you guys have the time to come and join me. Be safe, be healthy, and I'll talk to you guys later. Much love.